Towards the end, we have leadership styles. Now, I think the most fundamental leadership style theory to know about and understand is Tannenbaum and Schmidt's management continuum. It's a great name. Tannenbaum and Schmidt were actually a couple of American guys who came up with this theory. And what they said is, it's all about control. It's all about deciding how much control to have and how much to give away. And they said there's a management continuum, a sliding scale of control. So the first style option you have got is telling. And this is where you keep all the control and you just tell people, I want you to paint that room and I want it blue. So that's simple. It's quick, it's easy, everyone knows where they are. That's telling. It's not very nice if you are on the other end receiving it though. The second option that Tannenbaum and Schmidt said exists is to sell. And this is also a top-down style. But here you tell them what you want and why as well. I want you to paint the room blue because it's been shown to be the most relaxing color and both men and women like it or whatever. So you tell them what you want and why. It's still pretty quick. It takes a little bit longer, but you have still got total control. And it's a little bit more motivational for the people on the receiving end. The third is consulting. So this is where you say to them, I've got this plan to paint the room blue. What do you think about it? Can anybody see a snag with it? So you ask them about the plan. So it's quite a bit more motivational and you should get a better quality job as well if you do that. But it takes a bit of time and there is a risk, of course, and they're going to argue with your plan, which you may not like. So that's consult. Now the thing about consult is you, the leader, are still keeping control because you are the one who decide what color it's going to be. If they persuade you to go for orange instead of blue, you can go. Yes, why not? Okay, we'll do that or not, we won't, but you still take the final decision. Having consulted them, you know that what you have to do in the end. Now, once you cross the line, you come to the fourth option, which is to share the decision. And once you start sharing the decision, you no longer have complete control. So if there's 5 of you in the team, it's you and a team of 4. You sit down and say, okay guys, what color should we have in this room? So you have now only got 20% of the decision. But you know you have still got a fair bit of control and everything's great. So sharing is really motivational. You should get a great decision. The only trouble is it's one of the most time-consuming management styles. That's the problem with it. The final one on Tannenbaum and Schmidt's original management continuum is delegate. So instead of sharing, you say to them, guys, I want you to repaint the room. You decide what color, whatever you go with, I'm happy with that. I suppose in between share and delegate, you could say, I want you to decide the color. Just check it with me first before you buy the paint. Just in case they go off for sort of some crazy purple and orange stripes or something like that, you are on a safer zone. But you can see that's quite disempowering to give them the choice and then say you're not happy with the answer. So really, if you're going to delegate, you have to go with whatever they choose. But if you are delegating to competent people, it will be fine. And actually, if you don't really care which color the room is, why not let them decide? So that's delegate, where you have no control over what they choose. The only control you have got, I suppose, is that you're monitoring what they're doing. So you could step in and say, hang on a minute, I don't like the color you're painting. But you've really lost control over the decision now. But of course, it's much quicker for you and it's much more motivational for them. And sometimes when you delegate to people, you actually get a better job than you would have done because they know more than you, or they're just really motivated to have been given the job. So you might delegate something trivial that you don't really assign much time and effort to, but the person who gets it loves it. Oh, I'm in charge of this, and they do a really careful, a great job for you. So delegating is motivational and can give better quality and can save you quite a bit of time. The one downside is you don't have control. So Tannenbaum and Schmidt did those 5: tell, sell, consult, share and delegate. But I want to add a couple more to the bottom of their management continuum, because at the very bottom you will find abdicate. Now, they didn't recommend this and I wouldn't recommend this, but it's worth adding abdicate because we need to understand what it means and what the difference is between delegate and abdicate. So abdicate is where you say, I want you to paint the room whatever color you want to have, just go for it, I don't care. It sounds like very delegating, that you are letting them do what they like, but the difference is that you don't bother. And that manifests itself in the fact that you don't monitor. You're probably not even there, probably abroad or on a holiday or something. I have abdicated that. So abdicating is where you don't monitor and therefore you're not available for support either. So if it does go wrong, you are not going to be there to catch them, and when they fail, it's their problem. And your plan, of course, is just to blame them. If it goes wrong, well, I give it to you. It's your fault. It's gone wrong. But if you abdicate and goes wrong, whose fault is it really? And of course, it is your fault. Because you decided to give it to those people you should have monitored. You weren't there to be their support. So if you don't know it's going wrong, it's your fault. If you're delegating, you should be monitoring, and if it goes wrong, it's your fault for not supporting it. So everything is management's fault, as we have seen before and spoken about before. Of course, with abdicate, it's much more likely to go wrong. So delegating does not have risk as abdicating does have risk. So that leaves one more management style, which is in between delegate and abdicate. And the final management style is in power empowerment. And this is what you say to them. I want them all to be repainted. I'm going to let you do it however you like. It's totally up to you. You just go for it. I'm not going to monitor because I trust you. Because if you have got any problems, please do come to me and I'll help. So with empowerment, you are not monitoring, but you are still available for support. So you can see it's one step beyond delegating, where you are monitoring because we are not going to monitor. We trust them totally. Now, we really do have no control. We are available for support, and that's what makes it different to abdicate, because abdicating bosses are not available for support. So empowerment can sometimes be mistaken for abdication, because you are not monitoring, but it's very different. And if people are going to be empowered, they have to understand that if they need support, they must come and ask for it, because you, the manager, will not know there's a problem otherwise, because you are not monitoring. So that's Tannenbaum and Schmidt's management continuum. Selling takes a bit of time, consulting takes a lot of time, sharing takes ages. But once you get over the hump, delegation becomes brilliant, because when you delegate, you save a lot of time. And then empowerment is even better, because you haven't even got to monitor, and obviously advocates brilliant for the time. And then finally, quality. I think quality increases as you go down the scale, because consulting and sharing, you should get really good quality now. Delegating and empowering, it depends on who you delegate to. It might be done slightly less well compared to you, but you have saved loads of time and perhaps it doesn't matter. But quite often when you delegate or empower, you actually get a better quality job as well, for the reason I mentioned earlier. So all of the styles, if I had to pick one, I would pick delegating. I think empowerment is brilliant for the motivation, but it is risky, whereas delegating is pretty good for motivation and you save a lot of time and there is no risk because you are monitoring. So if I had to pick up a style, I would definitely pick up delegating.